Were you familiar with? I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit of Dark Age of Camelot at all.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I haven't played it much, but yeah.
So it was another obsession of mine for very, very long. I think I started playing in like 2001, and then off and on I would revisit my character and avatar. My dream for it was always that there would be some Ready Player One type meta platform where all of these old games that we once played, where we invested how many thousands of hours in a character, that there would be like an export button. And you could take that character and put it in a world where they can interact with characters from all these other games. It sounds impossible from a logistics point of view, but like Ready Player One really made me want that world so that I could at least justify that youth spent on developing that character.
Yeah, that would be a pretty tall challenge. Like I'm trying to like in my head map how that process would work, and I would not like to be the engineer who was assigned that task. Yeah,
because talking about the metaverse and stuff like that, whether it's Zuckerberg's metaverse or the Apple Vision Pros, whatever they're developing, like it seems like it has to be a very closed model of like this is the Facebook metaverse and this is the Apple metaverse, as opposed to just capital T the metaverse where everything can just like coexist in it. How do we get there? Will we ever get there?
I mean, okay, I'll give you an example of why it'd be really difficult. Have you ever wondered why Nintendo doesn't just release their whole back catalog to play on their...
Yes, because there are like Super Nintendo games that I want to play that aren't necessarily available at any given time.
One of the primary reasons for that is the licensing, especially around like in each country or whatever, is a fragmented clusterfuck. To unwrap or untie that knot is effectively impossible. So in order to do that, if you design the systems on a looking forward basis to do that, sure, but then there's no... Why would Apple help Facebook out in that way, right? There's a little too much altruism at work there to.
So a lot of it is that they just don't want to pay. Like they wouldn't see the financial viability of me being able to import my game that 25,000 people are still interested in. Like they wouldn't want to pay for that.
Yeah.
This makes me sad.
And the other thing is like a character, especially in like a game. A character exists within a rule set.
Yeah.
And if these rule sets aren't identical to each other as you're bringing them into that shared platform, outside that context, the character doesn't even make sense, or like the equipment you have or whatever that is does not make sense outside of that context, right? So like,
I feel like this is where we need to introduce AI into this problem, and just AI will just be like meta rule set, like figure it out.
What's the rough equivalent of playing like a Settlers of Catan piece on like a chessboard? I'm like, okay, now you guys play with that, right?
Just because we've been developing chess for 4,000 years, we can't just put in a piece of wheat on the chessboard and see what happens.